8 because Georgie was number 7 from the remake of the film. Yeah.
So not only does Dr. Gordon cut off his own foot, he crawls his ass over there. By the way, did you guys notice how he looked like a goddamn zombie by this point? Which I understand, but he was so white, it was like unreal. I don't know how to describe. I realize they have a $1.2 million budget, but I was like, what the fuck? He is like pale, and maybe it's blood loss. I get it. It just looked really like fake. I don't know how to describe. I'm not trying to kick the shit out of the movie. I'm just saying what I saw. You know.
Boy, yeah.
After you watch it like 7 times, you start to pick out little shit. You know. Over the last 2 days, I literally watched this like 7 times over the last 2 days. And I'm not tired of it, so that says something. So anyway, he picks up that bullet, finds the gun, shoots at him right in the shoulder, and, you know, he did his job, supposedly. Well, Zepp arrives, and, you know, Gordon's like, I killed him, where's my kids? And taps after Zepp, and Zepp actually manages to tap fatally. So Danny Glover dies here, which is crazy because I don't think most people expected that. And then he enters the bathroom and he's ready to kill Gordon because it's too late. It's the rules. Reminds me of Scream again. It's the rules. If you get it right, you die. If you get it wrong, you die. Well, that's the other way around. But either way. And as he's about to kill Gordon, Adam actually recovers from the gunshot wound because it's non-fatal. And he kills Zepp in a vicious fucking beating with a toilet tank lid. Apparently, when he punched Zepp, he legit punched him, which was a accident. Hey, we got guest 4 logged into the chat, whoever that might be. Maybe it's your buddy Tara, Vic.
It might be.
So anyway, he just fucking bashed a toilet tank lid is fucking heavy, is it not, Vic?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So anyway, that kills him, and you get Gordon crawling away. He talks to Adam. He goes, I wouldn't lie to you, Adam. I'll get you I'll get somebody. And he crawls out of there. And, I mean, I don't know what to think happened of Dr. Gordon at this point. Let's pretend we never saw the others. I mean, does he bleed out? Does he fucking die? He will bleed out if he doesn't get the hell out of there. So he crawls out of there 1 foot and all. So in the meantime, see, because you think this is the end of the movie, everything's going to be okay. But no, it does not end right there. Adam actually searches Zepp for a key to his chain. And instead, he finds another micro cassette player. And this is the climatic theme of the series, rather. This music, which I have on CD, plays. It's called Hello Zepp. It begins, and it's this tape that informs Adam that Zepp was also following instructions under, pain of death. Basically, he had some sort of virus or something in his bloodstream that was going to kill him if he wasn't doing what he said. Jigsaw's voice says, basically, if you don't go through with this, that you're going to die. Let's see, how compassionate you are with it's a mother and a child type thing. So anyway, as soon as that happens, Jigsaw's this fucking after he stops talking, the body in the middle of the floor, which we assume's dead. I didn't think about this body for 1 fucking second during this movie. When I first saw it, he's dead. That's okay. It's gross, but whatever. I mean, because they both said there was a horrible smell in there, so I assumed it was the body. Well, this thing fucking spazzes up, and it lets out a long breath. And as Adam watches, in horror, the dead man peels off this latex that gave the appearance of his head wound, and then he kind of slowly rises to his feet. And you realize, if you paid attention to the movie, it's John Kramer, played by our buddy Tobin Bell, who is actually, like I said, a terminal brain cancer patient of Dr. Gordon's. And he's seen briefly in the same flashback where Zepp is, equally briefly introduced, Jigsaw / John Kramer, whose voice is in fact kind of weak, from the cancer, informs Adam that the key to his chain is in the bathtub, which we realize was the thing that actually went down the drain at the start of the movie. And so Adam reaches for a gun to shoot John, but he gets shocked with electricity, which we get this big, they call it the epileptic montage, because it's in every movie where you get a sequence of a ton of flashbacks. It's like vital shots of the movie in roughly 30 seconds. And just before the lights flick off in the bathroom for the last time, John repeats a line he said to Amanda, after she escaped, and he says, "Most people are so grateful to be alive, but not you, not anymore." And then John shouts, "Game over," and then he slams the door shut. And he seals Adam, presumably, in the bathroom forever. And the way it ends is Adam screaming, his horrific screams. Again, I think Lee Wannell is just not a great actor because he's not truly an actor. But him screaming over the credits is fucking effective and an awesome way to end this movie, in my opinion. So, fellas, that is my, I don't know if it's a long-winded rundown or not. I talked for about 50 minutes there, and I need a breath and a drink. So, who's up?
What's up, man? I guess, yeah. I'll go ahead and throw out my grade if you want.
Talk about it, buddy. Give your thoughts.
Like I said at the very beginning of the podcast, I believe that Saw is truly the king of torture porn. It might not be my favorite, but I still believe it started as crazy. And with that, you automatically got in high regard. I saw it in the theaters. I loved it. I've loved it every time I've seen it. It like you said with the whole foot thing. It made me look away. I look away probably about, I don't know, maybe half the time that I watch it. But it's a great movie. I love the entire cast. Everybody does it right. And, it's almost, I don't want to say it's the perfect movie, but it's pretty close. So it's definitely a 4 out of 4 chainsaws for me. So that 7.7, I would give it a little bit higher. I'd say about 8 out of 10 on IMDb is what it should be.
But for the general public, that's fucking high. So I guess we can't get too mad about it.
Oh man, yeah. Like I said, I thought it'd be a 7.5, so it's a little higher than what I thought they would give it. Just because everybody I know holds it in such high regard. I'm sure there was some backlash from it somewhere in life, but everybody I know personally, they hold it in such high regard that I'm not surprised it was that high on there.
Yep. All right, Blake, dig into your memory banks, buddy, and let's see what you got for us.
Well, like you guys were saying, it kind of opened the doors to that sort of, horror subgenre, the torture, torture porn sort of subgenre. There was never one exactly like it before. It was very original, and it started with a bang and it ended with one. And very rarely does a film do that. Usually it falls short in one aspect or another. Beginning's kind of slow, and then it works its way up to being awesome, or the beginning's awesome, and then by the end of the movie you're like, is this motherfucking piece of shit over yet, or what?
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like that. That's how you get with them. But this one it kept me on my toes. I didn't look away at any parts of it, oddly enough. I guess it's just because I sort of was, desensitized very young. So I didn't really, it didn't bother me really. But it's got a really, really, really high amount of gore in it, and it's just disgusting just overall. And I think that was the whole point of the movie. I think that Lee Wannell and James Wan, that limited budget forced them to sort of look into what kind of effectiveness they could have in basically one room, kind of set, and what they could do to convey that sense of, horror and, the suspense and all that. And, obviously it made some noise with the people who read the script because, Danny Glover doesn't just do movies like that. I think the only other horror-type film I ever saw in them was Predator 2, and it's really more sci-fi than anything. He just doesn't do that kind of stuff. So to see him in something like this, with him being such a high-profile actor, it speaks volumes about the quality of Wan's writing and Wannell's writing. Like you said, he's not an actor per se, but he had a vision, and I think the vision was perfectly executed for what it was. It had some very interesting deaths, and Tobin Bell, you know, he was more of like a character actor, you know, kind of low profile before this. It sort of made him a genre star in much the same vein that you know, Nightmare on Elm Street made Robert Englund a genre star. So it's sort of, I see a lot of parallels there in that sense of, you know, toying with your victims before you get rid of them. And it was even more disgusting because, you know, Freddy just kind of kills you and then that's it. This guy makes you kill each other. Or he kills you because you can't kill, you're not strong enough to, or, you know, whatever. He exploits your weakness, you know, on every level. And it just overall, it's a very good film for a low budget. I mean, it was fantastic. As the sequels, you know, I've seen 3 or 4 of them. I haven't seen all of them, no. I've seen, like, I think a good 3 or 4 sequels, and after that I kind of just lost interest. But I give it a 4 out of 4 Razor Gloves, because there was nothing else like it at the time. And again, it sort of helped make Lionsgate, you know, a big name as far as film production company, because Lionsgate has done some top quality stuff, you know, since then. And I think Saw kind of opened the doors. It sort of did for Lionsgate what Nightmare on Elm Street did for New Line.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fellas, let me ask you a question before I get into my rating. Am I the only one that felt like Cary Elwes and Lee Wannell weren't, and I'm not going to say at the end they weren't fucking, they did a great job at the end, but most of the, I don't know what it was about, maybe it's just the situation was just really hard, or maybe it was their accent. Am I the only one that caught that they just kind of seemed to suck as far as their acting goes? I don't. And again, I like both of them, so it's not anything like that. You know, I'm not bitching about them, but something about their acting just seemed forced, at least until the end.
Yeah.
Am I the only one?
No, I've seen it, and I think what they were trying to convey with that was it was just the acting is terrible, but I think that was for the sense of horror, because, you know what, how would you act if you were thrown into a situation like that?
Yeah,
you wouldn't
and they talked about that.
Form, you know?
They talked about that, how, you know, they had always thought about, you know, like, how do you react and all that type of stuff, and, like, nobody really knows, because, I mean, we can say whatever we want, but the truth of the matter is, you don't know.
Right, yeah.
Well, I'm going to echo a lot of y'all's sentiments. $1.2 million budget. I mean, millions upon millions made in the U.S. and internationally. I'm sure it's banned in a few countries. I don't know which ones. But listening to the commentary on this movie, I really like James Wan and Lee Wannell. They seem like really cool dudes, and it kind of reflects in their work. And they really did a good job with the casting. As much as I bitched about Cary Elwes and Lee Wannell, I mean, to be able to get these type of people for $1.2 million, Danny Glover, Shawnee Smith, Cary Elwes, that's pretty fucking impressive. So good budgeting on their part, good work by them. I remember seeing this movie for the first time and just being blown away by what I just saw. I couldn't believe what I just saw. I was like, this is the best movie, horror movie I'd seen in years, because horror was again starting to come down again after the all these Scream copycats. It was looking bad. It wasn't looking good for horror again. This kind of rejuvenated the genre. Whether you like torture porn or not, you gotta give fucking props to Saw. I don't know if they caught lightning in a bottle here, but with John Kramer, played by Tobin Bell, and all the other stuff that was in this movie, it was a home run for me. I give it 4 out of 4 machetes. There's just no other way you can go. I mean, every one of us gave it 4 out of 4. This movie is a fantastic first entry into a franchise. It's one of those that, like Blake said, it really did start an icon of horror. Jigsaw, I mean, shit, over the last 20 years, what kind of icons do we have in horror? We got Victor Crowley, who is even more low budget than this, because it's like direct to DVD. And I don't think most people know him, but people know Jigsaw. So Let me just say, personally, and we'll get through the Saw series as the month goes on, I am fucking happy Jigsaw's back October 26th and 27th, or whatever opening day you want to pick, because we're going October 27th. I am just happy that we have something other than possession movies back in the cinemas again, you know, fellas?
Yes.